Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever dreamed of retirement as the golden chapter of your life? A time to finally breathe, explore, and live on your own terms. Then why do so many parents carry the weight of their adult children's problems long after their work life is over? Your retirement savings represent more than just a number in a bank account. They symbolize decades of early mornings, long hours, sacrifices, and discipline. You didn't build that nest egg on a whim. You built it with a vision in mind. Security, dignity, freedom, and peace in the later chapters of your life. Giving that away too easily, even to your children, can derail everything you worked so hard for. Many retirees feel obligated to become a financial lifeline for their adult children, especially when those children are struggling. But what often begins as help can quickly become dependence. And the painful truth is, if you empty your savings to rescue them today, you might find yourself needing rescuing tomorrow. When you hand over large chunks of your retirement fund, you're not just giving away money. You're giving away years of hard work, future opportunities, and in many cases, your safety net. Financial planners often stress that one of the leading causes of retirees running out of money is continued financial support to adult children. It's not selfish to say no, it's responsible. You are not being cruel. You are not being unloving. You are being wise. Let your children learn the lessons that come from struggle. Let them develop resilience, financial discipline, and personal accountability. Shielding them from the consequences of their choices may feel like love in the moment, but it can rob them of growth. There's a big difference between helping and enabling. Helping lifts someone up. Enabling keeps them down, stuck in cycles of dependence. If your adult child knows that every mistake will be erased by your checkbook, they won't change. Not because they don't want to, but because they don't have to. And this can slowly build resentment, not just in your relationship with them, but within yourself. You begin to feel taken for granted. You watch your retirement goals slip away. You start resenting the very people you were trying to help. True, empowerment comes from teaching them to stand on their own. Encourage them to budget. Encourage them to problem solve. Encourage them to face the fire and figure things out. You can be a source of wisdom and support without being a source of endless financial relief. Your money is not the solution to their journey. You are not their retirement plan. You are not their second career. You are in a season of life where peace, not pressure, should be your priority. Alongside financial boundaries, it's equally important to protect your personal autonomy, your right to live freely and on your terms. Too often, after retirement, parents surrender control of their life decisions to their adult children under the guise of care or concern. They move into homes they don't want to live in. They adopt routines they don't enjoy. They say yes to things they don't agree with, all because they feel pressured by their children's opinions or guilt trips. But retirement is not the time to live someone else's life. It is the time to reclaim your own. You don't owe your child the right to dictate how you live. Whether it's where you live, how you spend your time, or how you manage your health, these choices belong to you. Too many people let go of that power and end up feeling stuck in a lifestyle that doesn't reflect their desires. They feel like guests in their own homes or prisoners to someone else's plan. That is not peace. That's passive surrender. It's okay to say, "This is my time now." It's okay to make decisions that others don't agree with. That's not being defiant. That's being self-respecting. Taking control of your retirement means honoring your voice, your goals, and your boundaries. When your children were growing up, you taught them to stand up for themselves. Now it's your turn. Take back the wheel, drive the life you've earned. You are not being selfish. You are finally putting yourself where you belong. First, retirement should be a season of emotional relief, not emotional exhaustion. One of the most common and overlooked drains on peace in retirement is the constant emotional labor many parents continue to give to their adult children. You've raised them, guided them, and supported them through years of ups and downs. That doesn't mean you are obligated to carry their emotional baggage for the rest of your life. Emotional support is part of being a parent. But when that support becomes a one-sided weight that you're expected to hold without rest. It takes a toll on your mental well-being. You are not your child's therapist. You are not their emotional punching bag. You are not the container for all their fears, failures, and frustrations. There comes a time when your peace has to be your priority. That means setting emotional boundaries, not out of anger, but out of love. Love for yourself and your right to enjoy this chapter of your life. When your phone rings constantly with their problems, when your days are consumed by their drama, when your nights are spent worrying about things you can't control, it's not healthy. You start to feel anxious, responsible, overwhelmed. That's not peace. That's a silent kind of suffering. You may feel like stepping back emotionally means abandoning your child, but the opposite is true. By stepping back, you're allowing them to develop their own coping skills. You're showing them that emotional maturity involves personal responsibility. You've spent a lifetime offering advice, encouragement, and support. Now is the time to allow space for your own emotional needs. Retirement is not just about financial freedom, it's about emotional freedom. You deserve mornings without tension. You deserve evenings without stress. You deserve to be able to smile and breathe and feel light again. That kind of peace doesn't just arrive. You have to protect it. That means saying no when conversations become toxic, creating space when relationships feel too heavy, and recognizing when you're being drained instead of uplifted. You can love someone deeply and still refuse to carry their emotional chaos. That's not neglect. That's wisdom. Another way your peace is often threatened after retirement is through guilt. And make no mistake, guilt is one of the most powerful tools of manipulation, even within loving families. When your adult child uses phrases like, "You owe me," "You were never there for me," or "If you really loved me, you would," that's not connection, that's control. Many parents fall into this trap because guilt strikes at the core of who they are. You begin to question if you did enough. You replay old decisions. You wonder if saying no now is a form of abandonment. But guilt is not a guide to good parenting. It's a trap that keeps you stuck in patterns that no longer serve either of you. You do not owe your child your life after retirement. You do not have to keep sacrificing your joy just to ease their disappointment. You do not need to keep proving your love. You have already done enough. You gave them a childhood. You gave them your time, your energy, your dreams, and maybe even parts of yourself that no one ever saw. That is not a debt. That is love. That is parenting. And it's time to let go of the idea that love equals endless sacrifice. Setting emotional and psychological boundaries is not rejection. It's redirection. It's choosing peace over pressure. It's choosing clarity over chaos. When you release guilt, you reclaim power. And when you reclaim power, you create space for joy, fulfillment, and peace in this sacred time of life. You deserve to wake up without the weight of someone else's emotions pressing on your chest. You deserve a life that feels like yours. Again, let go of guilt. Let go of the need to fix everything. Hold on to your peace like it's priceless, because it is. One of the greatest acts of love you can give your adult child is the opportunity to grow on their own. Growth does not happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when someone is constantly being rescued from consequences. And it certainly doesn't happen when you, as a parent, keep stepping in to soften the blows of life. After retirement, many parents continue to intervene, fix problems, and absorb the fallout of their child's decisions. But when you do this repeatedly, you're not helping them grow, you're delaying their evolution. Struggle, while painful, is a necessary part of building strength, character, and independence. If you constantly shield them from hard moments, you unintentionally teach them that they are incapable of handling life without you. You raised them to be strong. You taught them values. You instilled in them lessons about resilience, hard work, and accountability. Let them apply those lessons. Let them fail. Let them feel discomfort. Let them experience the natural results of their actions. This is not cold-hearted. It's courageous parenting. It takes strength to watch someone you love go through a difficult time without jumping in to fix it. But you must trust that your child has the ability to learn, adapt, and rise. Sometimes the hardest part of parenting adults is learning to step aside. You are not abandoning them. You are allowing them the space to discover who they are without relying on you as their safety net. When you keep solving every problem, paying every bill, or making every decision, you're not doing them a favor. You're holding them back. Think about how many times you had to figure things out on your own. Think about the growth that came from your own setbacks. That same process is what shaped you, and it's what will shape them. The world doesn't owe them comfort, and neither do you. Letting go of the need to constantly help your adult child grow up is not easy, but it's necessary for both of you. Your child will never become fully independent if they believe you will always step in to catch them, and you will never experience true peace if you continue living with the pressure of their potential on your shoulders. Growth requires space. Give them that space. Stand close enough to encourage, but far enough to let them walk their own path. Another way you can protect your peace after retirement is by guarding your time. Time is the one resource you can't earn back. Every minute you spend is a piece of your life you're choosing to invest. In retirement, your time should be invested in what feeds your soul, not just in what pleases others. Many parents continue to give their children all their time, often at the expense of their own dreams, desires, and rest. Your calendar doesn't have to revolve around their schedules, their needs, or their emergencies. You've done that for decades. Now it's your time. Saying no is not a rejection. It's a declaration of self-respect. When you give all your time to your adult children, whether it's babysitting on demand, running errands, or being constantly available, you lose the opportunity to explore who you are beyond the role of a parent. You have hobbies, passions, and people you've postponed for far too long. Start saying yes to those things. Reclaim your mornings. Enjoy your afternoons. Guard your evenings. You don't need to apologize for wanting to use your time on you. It's important to realize that when you set boundaries around your time, you're teaching your child something valuable too. You're teaching them respect. You're teaching them that relationships should not be one-sided. You're showing them that it's okay to say no, and that saying no doesn't mean you love them any less. In fact, it means you're modeling a kind of love that includes self-care and balance. Time is sacred. Don't spend your golden years always on call, always available, always second. You've earned this season. Spend it wisely. Let your time reflect the value of your life, not just in what you give to others, but in what you give to yourself. There's a quiet tragedy that happens far too often in retirement. Dreams are quietly packed away and forgotten so that someone else's plans can move forward. Parents, especially those with adult children still finding their footing, tend to put themselves last out of habit. They sacrifice their own long-held hopes to make room for someone else's needs, schedules, or ambitions. What gets lost in this process is more than just time or money. It's identity. You didn't retire just to be a full-time cheerleader for someone else's life. You retired to live your own. Your dreams didn't come with an expiration date. Retirement isn't the end of possibility. It's a doorway into one of the most powerful seasons of self-discovery. Maybe you always wanted to write a book, travel the world, take up painting, start a garden, go back to school, or open a small business. Those aren't just idle thoughts. They're part of who you are. When you put those dreams aside to help someone else pursue theirs, you send yourself a silent message that your purpose is over, that your time has passed. But the truth is, it hasn't. You are still here. You are still capable. You are still worthy of the adventure. The problem is that many parents feel a sense of guilt when they begin to prioritize themselves. They worry that pursuing their own dreams might seem selfish or that it might take away from their child's success. But this mindset comes from years of selflessness, not from truth. You are not selfish for chasing your goals. You are not neglectful for having boundaries. You are not abandoning your family by choosing joy. You're honoring yourself. And in doing that, you're teaching your children the most valuable lesson of all, that life is not just about survival, but about thriving, that your age doesn't limit you, that dreams can live on the other side of duty. There's a fire inside you that's been waiting patiently while you gave and gave and gave. It's time to give to yourself. You've spent so many years saying, "Not now," Start saying, why not now? The dreams you had don't disappear just because your child has dreams too. There's room for both. And when your child sees you come alive again, it will inspire them more than any money or assistance ever could. Another profound truth about retirement is this: loving your children doesn't mean losing yourself. It's easy to confuse love with total sacrifice, but the two are not the same. Love is patient, kind, and supportive, but love does not erase your identity. You are not just a parent. You are a person, a soul, a dreamer, a creator. Somewhere along the way, you may have put those parts of yourself in the background, but now it's time to bring them forward again. Setting boundaries, protecting your energy, and honoring your dreams is not a sign that you love your child less. It's a sign that you've learned to love yourself more. And when your child sees you living with joy and purpose, they're not going to feel abandoned. They're going to feel inspired. You will teach them, through your actions, that life is meant to be lived fully, not just endured. That peace is something you protect. That happiness is something you cultivate. That self-respect is something you earn by saying no when you need to, and yes when it matters. You're not here just to be useful to someone else. You're here to be whole. You don't need permission to prioritize your health, your time, or your dreams. You've given enough. You've done enough. Now it's time to become who you were always meant to be, beyond the roles you've played for others. Because when you love yourself deeply, you give your family the greatest gift of all, a model of what it means to live life with peace, purpose, and dignity. Our children will always be your children. You'll always love them. But love is not about enabling. It's about empowering. You've done your part. You've raised them. Now it's your turn to rise. Protect your peace. Guard your joy. Respect your journey. You've earned this freedom. Don't give it away.